7/28, November 15th, 2019. And when did this all start? It was a shift, change. I went from picking apart Stephen James DeShawn. Then I started to pick apart Donald Trump because I realized that Trump and Steve are playing the same exact role. It's just one of them's completely underground, the other one's completely above ground. That was the two. And then I didn't realize that there was a third until he started talking about the Church of Philadelphia, Yoder Lumber, New Jerusalem, New Philadelphia. And that was Jonathan Kleck and his video with Michael Spears on July 4th of July. That's when I started to pay attention, especially when that shooting happened on August 14th in Philadelphia near the Temple University, where 6 officers got shot and one of them got shot, grazed in his head, a wounded head. And he did live. But it basically began from the east. And here we are over at the west. March 15th, 2019 was the shooting at Christ Church. Not Corpus Christi, but Christ. I think like 50 people got killed. The guy was a white supremacist. He was going to go into another mosque, the Linwood Mosque, he was going to shoot up. And then the very next day, it was Jonathan Kleck's birthday, 3/16. And at the same time, right before his video that Kleck made, and I didn't realize this until way later on. I wasn't even paying attention to Kleck, I don't think, at the time. Not in the way I am now. But he, he had the balloon captions. This is when I started connecting the dots with Jonathan Kleck, I'm like, no. Because there was a balloon scare. It was a gun scare, but it was a balloon pop in Michigan. The same, I think it's the very next day, same day, 3/15. And it was just a scare in Michigan, the campus, the college campus. And before that, the shooter was looking to go and travel to Linwood Mosque to shoot that up. Then what happened was, because that was a shooting, then there was a fire that came next, but it was 30 days later. Because the Notre Dame Cathedral burnt down on April 15th. Then I started to really catch on to that pattern. Now the patterns switch up, but the number 6 is constantly in these patterns. Then I started looking at like, wait a minute, I think something's gonna happen, like a bombing, because it's a shooting fire bomb. And at that time I'm starting to pick up on the 6-day pattern. So I said that there would be a bombing, and it would be on April 20th, but it was on April 21st over in Sri Lanka. I believe it was April 20th here when it happened over there. And of course, like hundreds of people get blown up, killed. And it did happen, and it was ISIS. And there was a 2-day delay. Something with this 2-day delay, because how I seen it was ISIS is definitely going to claim responsibility for the bombing that's going to happen somewhere in the world on April 20th. They won't take responsibility at first, but they will afterwards. And that's exactly what happened. I probably keep saying August, but I meant April 20th. Then, pinpoint dead on accuracy was next up. The next major news dominating event will be on April 27th. And it started from the east side. So it's looking like it's going to be in the west somewhere, because it was 6 batches, right, that Steve was putting in the stuffed peppers, with 4 altogether, and 4, ketchups. But that was his batch he made was after these 4 events. But then the next 4 were pretty much dead on with the way he was cooking your stuffed peppers there, Steve. And so what had happened was, it was and I also said it would be a lone wolfman, a hate crime. It would be Professor Plum, and he would go into the study with a revolver, and he would kill 666 people. But he didn't kill anybody. However, there were 6 shots, and then there were 6 or 7 more shots, which takes care of your 666 reference. It was a lone wolf man, which takes care of that. He did go into a study, which is the church, studying the Word of God, took care of that. He did use a revolver. So, okay, that happened. It did happen on the west side, so it was from east to west. And his name was John, which, ironically enough, I wasn't putting that together back then, but yeah, now you do. And it was on April 27th. So there you go. There's that. Then it kind of slowed down a little bit, because then I hopped over to picking apart Paul Begley. And right before I picked apart Begley, it was before May 21st, 2019, and the theme was God's wrath. So I hopped from the shooting, fire, bombs over to, because it slowed down with the news, with the world news dominating events. And then I seen Paul Begley's going to start talking about God's wrath. And then within the next 10 days, he's going to talk about aliens. He's going to talk about asteroids. He's going to talk about floods. He's going to talk about everything except for shootings, bombs, and fires is what Paul Begley's going to be talking about. And then, of course, that came to pass, word for word, day after day. Well, actually, I said within 21 days, but he said everything within 10 days. From May 21st, 2019, I probably said 2011, to May 31st, 2019, to the T. Then I was on a more, and then I remember I got him to say Robin's Hood on a live stream 3 days in a row. That was pretty funny. That was good. Then what had happened was Steve hopped up and made a video about these stuffed peppers on July 26, 2019. And then I commented to him, like, "What? Hold on, Steve. What's going to happen in 2 days on July 28th?" Because he didn't want to clean his dishes on that day or the following day, which meant the next day, 2 days later. Again, here comes this 2-day. I'm just gonna say this now. I think Saturday is a day for another one of these events to take place, because there's like a 2-3 bypass. I don't know. Still what that bypass is. However, then what had happened was, I asked Steve what's going to happen on July 28th, and then I found out what was going to happen on July 28th. When July 28th came around, and it was the Gilroy Festival shooting. And I believe, of course, it had 4 people shot or something, because it's still referencing the 6. And Then the very next, was it the 30th? 2 days later, there was a shooting at Mississippi, Home Depot. Walmart. On the 30th, which was 2 days later. Then on August 3rd, there was another Walmart shooting, this time in Texas, Kleck's hometown. Because the Gilroy Festival, that was a shooting over in California, the west side, and then you got Mississippi thrown in there. And then, not only 4 days later, 4 days later, on August 3rd, it was the shooting in Texas, the Walmart. So it was back-to-back Walmart. So it's the combination of getting hit, two companies, famous companies getting hit, like the Home Depots, back-to-back. It's like back-to-back. And then not only was it 13 hours later, to top off the 4 stuffed peppers with ketchup on top, it ended at the bar in Ned Peppers, which was on August 4th, 2019. And that was 6 full days with those 4 events bunched up together. So then I really started to catch on to Steve being fully behind these events taking place. Before I got on to Kleck. Kleck's the last one. He's that last frog. He's the last beast. He's the one that's taking all the accolades, and he's the face of the Antichrist in the world. He's the face, the top face on the YouTube platform. Jonathan Wells Fargo Kleck. So that was August 4th. All right. Then I thought on August 10th, because I said, get ready, Philadelphia. Because I started to catch on to Kleck and Michael Spears over there talking about Home Depot. The paint samples at the Home Depot. And so anyway, just by saying it that way, and it might change it up now, or it's too late. But just by saying it that way, I'm like, huh? What? The Home Depots are next. Where? What? Why? Because he said the Home Depot, just like that. So I said, get ready, Philadelphia. Get ready. And that was on August. Well, it was like August 8th, I think. But I was thinking that August 10th would be the next major news dominating event. But it was August 14th. Okay, so it was 10 days later. 10 days later. Keep that in mind, because man, oh man, to see that sign, the 10 mile per hour at the school, the shooting yesterday, after the 75th day, since it landed perfectly on 75 days on November 14th. Well, the first month and the 24th day of the first month, it's on. All right, so 10 days from now, it is on. All right, just keep that in mind. It won't be hard to forget, because it's only 9 days from now. So then, a couple days before the 14th, I think it was like the 8th, maybe it was the 10th, I did a video, and it was an update on a Home Depot mass shooting, and I said, I was driving in the car, and the song was playing, and I said 6 people have been shot, and so that was a few days beforehand. And then, here comes August 14th, 2019, 4:30 in the afternoon, the shooting happens. Right here on Erie and Broad Street, North 15th Street, 15th Street. And I just so happened to be driving by going home, hopping right into their crisis acting scene, being on the scene right before anybody is given any interviews. And I looked at my radio clock. It was 5:04 when I said, I think this has to be a shooting. As the siren sounded, I heard I heard about 7 sirens that went off because I rolled up the window once. It was like between the 6th and 7th, and I pulled over to go out and check out the scene. So I was on August 14th, and it was you know, on the clock it was 4:50. You know, it was I mean it was 5. I mean it was 4:05, which, you know, 450 false prophet, with the sirens descending upon the scene. I descended upon the scene, just like the lady said, and I was live streaming. You know, just like the lady said. The guy was live streaming. That was pretty funny, even though he wasn't. But then 6 officers got shot here in Philadelphia. A wounded head, the officer, and he did live, but he had his 2 sons. You know, his 2 sons, 9 and 10 years old. You know, they were worried about him. Now, keep in mind, Michael Spears and Jonathan Kleck were talking about the Church of Philadelphia. Does that ring a bell? The letter to the angel of the Church of Philadelphia. Wait a minute. Brace yourselves. Yoder Lumber, New Philadelphia, which is New Jerusalem, which means brotherly love. So not only was it 13 hours apart between the last 2 events, which was the shooting at the Texas Home Depot, Walmart, and then 13 hours apart to the Ned Peppers shooting. Well, it was 13 days apart from the next batch, which was the Philadelphia shooting on August 14th, to the next event in Philadelphia, which was August 27th, and that was at 52nd Lancaster Ave, where Amish beef was there. Church burnt down to the ground. And then 3 full days later was the Odessa shooting at the Home Depot. Okay, it was the Home Depot shooting, the reference there, and then you know the rest of the story. Midland, Texas. And so that was August 31st. And then that begins the timeline of the 75 days. Because Jonathan Kleck showing his stamped envelope, the date, August 31st, 2019. Then showing you the paid postage stamp, $4.35. Then showing you the Home Depot that everybody met up at the $4.35 Home Depot. Then exactly 50 days later, because when you're going across Corpus Christi at the 50 mile per hour zone, you're just showing us that you have a 50, there's a 50-day pattern there as well, and then there's going to be another 50-day pattern from that point. So the 50 days landed on October 20th, which was the Eagles-Dallas game. And the Eagles were going to be destroyed by the Dallas Cowboys, and that's exactly what happened, 37-10. 37-10. They got blown out that day. 8 o'clock, all the employees went home from the Home Depot, building number 75 in Dallas, Texas. I said, if there's a Lowe's mass shooting, well, then you know that the 9/11 will happen the next day. But it wasn't a Lowe's mass shooting. It was a Home Depot, which is the cousin, tornado. All right, that's what they told you. They took a crane, they busted the roof, they spread a lot of shit around, blow some wind, told you it was tornado, showed you some images in the sky, scared you. That was the 50th day. Jonathan Kleck was just testing as soon as he got on, right beforehand, because that's what he does. He gets on directly before the event happens, because that's what he did on the 20th of October, and then that's what he did yesterday. Well, the day before, he got up He did the video, it was on the 13th, but it was the night before, which was the night before the 14th. He gets on, he does his little thing there. Talks about the 2 days. In 2 days, he's going to give you a video. So it's looking like in 2 days from yesterday, it's going to be another hit. Because, here's the deal. Not sure what it is yet, but the 14-year-old that died and the 16-year-old, well, there you go. 14 today. Yesterday was the 14th. And then on the 16th, here comes another event because it's 2 days apart. He's giving you 2 days. So the shooting started at Philly, then the fire happened, and then your little shooting at the Texas Home Depot referencing 5 people dead, 21 injured, 5/21, May 21st. August 31st. Began the 75-day period. It began the 50-day period too. It's beginning the countdown, which is also referencing 75, okay? 75%. We're about 75% there. We were 50% there when the tornado happened in Dallas, Texas. Referencing 14 because the lighthouse 1400 got destroyed too. 200 yards away from 75 Home Depot. 375 William Penn building is 200 yards away from 1400 block of Cherry on Top Street and Broad Street, Philadelphia, where in that alleyway Jonathan Kleck got saved, because right there the Lord showed him what's up, because in the middle of the street there's 2 wings, looks like a bird, looks like a plane. No, wait, it's holographic images. In that alleyway, an airplane crashed into the ground, showing you where the second 9/11 is going to happen. 200 yards away is the William Penn building that Kleck is looking to level. I can't stop it. I can only tell you it's going to happen. 17th and JFK Boulevard is building 8. 800 feet to go to get to Corpus Christi. 50 miles per hour. 410. Route 410, which is also 5. 50 is 5. And then 410 is 5. Now, could have just kept going straight or making a left, or you can make a right. But yesterday's shooting, Route 5 is up there, and it shows Route 5 here, right there and there, and then off to the right is 14. On the 14th day, the 14-year-old got killed, and the 16-year-old. The 16th is coming up tomorrow. I'm going to say, I'll try to think of it, but the next major news dominating event will be Saturday, because of the pattern showing me it's a 2-day pattern now, from what it is. Might even be today. Well, no, I'm not going to go that far. But the girl being interviewed, the horrific crisis actors, the 2 girls that were talking, like one of them's trying to finish the other one's sentence. Oh my God. Oh man. So what she said was something like it didn't hit her. It won't hit her really to realization until the third time around, or something like third event, a third. Well, in other words, when it's 3 in a row, back to back to back, then it's going to hit you. So it's aiming towards the next event, right? But the next direction that they're going is to 14 and 75. 1475. That tornado, it was 140 miles per hour. That tornado was 14 miles long, according to the guy that told us that it destroyed everything in its path. 1400 Lighthouse got destroyed, and 1400 Cherry Street is right there at that alley where that thing is in the middle of the freaking alleyway with the bird that looks like wings. And then 200 yards the other side, when Kleck was there on Sunday and nobody's there, like, oh, what, Lord, what are you doing? And then he drove off to Broadway, because that's the way to get home. And then he just ran over the And then he's seen it and then ran back over it and went over it and like riding it, like, you know. There's many different meanings behind what he's saying. I don't even feel like getting into the sexual part of it, but he did say 2 white wings on a black top and and black top and 2 white wings, and you can do what you want with that. But it is a 1400 Street with the cherry on top. William Penn is celebrating his 375th year of something or another, greater than 3. The arrow is there's Route 3, which is right there, greater than, which is the arrow above it, right there on John F. Kennedy Boulevard. 17 years of Jonathan Kleck doing his ministry. John F. Kennedy Boulevard. Jonathan Wells Fargo Kleck. This is his real name. Oh, actually, it's Adam Schiff. Because he was talking about Adam Schiff being some kind of cokehead, you know, basically telling you what they say is that they lie straight to your teeth. They point the finger at somebody else telling them what they truly are. And then he goes along saying that he snorts a bunch of coke in the morning, as Jonathan Kleck is amped the hell up wearing his shift shirt, because he's a shift changer. So Stephen James DeShawn, your electric bill is $75. That's nice. That's nice. 75, building 75, Home Depot, the second Home Depot. The first one was, it was 50 days apart. Then it's 25 days later, because the next 10, 15 photos is 25 days. It does land on the 75th day. I did do my video yesterday right beforehand, just pointing out that it's the 75th day, letting you know, not saying that a shooting is going to happen, not knowing where it's going to happen, but that it is the 75th day. It's time for some action. Now, 100% no lying, okay? No lying. That don't make sense, Lord. Well, then turn it the frick upside down and continue to lie 100%, idiot. Oh, thanks, Lord. So, turn it upside down is 100% lying. Well, you have 24 days until that, but I haven't made any connection with what that 25 days is besides 100%. Because, yeah, it did begin August 31st is his countdown, because his numbers, 50 miles per hour, his tornado in Dallas, Texas, same night that the Eagles got destroyed, just like they were supposed to. Then 25 days later, here comes the shooting. I didn't see the shooting coming, but it's about what are they telling you in this event that's pointing to the next one. What's pointing to the next one is William Penn. I believe the school was even named William something or another, right? And with the tornado that happened in Dallas, Texas, Kleck was showing you the next event, because the next event is a snake on a corner with an eye that looks like a whale. And that school, Saugus or whatever it's called, the top of that building looks like a snake with the fan, the condenser up there, the 2 eyes pointed like in this direction. And also there was like a book bag on the corner to make it look like an eye. And then when you turn it sideways, well, it looks like a freaking whale, just like the image that they shown you on the tornado when Jonathan Kleck tore down the 75 building Home Depot. And it was near Shiloh and Robin Lane. Of course, just by coincidence, this was supposed to happen. Now that I see it, I was supposed to come along and pick apart the world script and show everybody that watches that this is all bullshit. Nobody's dying. They're setting it up. It ain't real. So look, hey, Kleck's not going to do the rest of his life in jail. Neither are you, Stephen James, because it's all an act. Second 9/11 is all an act. Everybody that went into that building, they were planted there. just like every horrific crisis actor that's reading their damn script. This is what gives it away. You look at this event like, oh wow, all these people died, it's crazy. And then you look over here and you got this person horribly reading their script, which means this has been planned out. They were told to read this, and that's what they're doing, which means it didn't happen. So look, it's either they're mass murderers and they're all going to jail for the rest of their life, unless, well, you know what? Ask yourself this question: if these people are murderers, and if they finally come clean and repent from murdering, will Christ forgive them and not let them do the rest of their life in jail? Unless they repent, or do they just get thrown in jail because that's man's law? Didn't David kill somebody? Oh my goodness, did he go to jail for the rest of his life? I'm just saying, there's a point in time where everybody repents. You just do, from whatever it is you've been doing. I'd advise you to repent and just work on not doing it again. But I see it as it's all fake and nobody's dying. I've been saying it from the gate. Now I'm just saying that second 9/11, the first 9/11, nobody's dying. These bombs are strategically set up. Even at the school, they do the correct extracurricular activity. They proved to me yesterday how all the crisis actors are involved, because they get to school early that day, extracurricular activities before the regular students are there, and that's why at 7:38 the shooting happened. 6, of course, 6, and of course the guy shoots himself, and a wounded head, he does live. So it's all just showing you what's going to happen next, these events. And the script's supposed to be known, and then now I see that Steve's trying to take credit for saying it's a script, and he's unraveling it. Man, I shit it on everybody's parade because they're all copying me. Is what they're doing. They're copying what I'm doing. They were already set up to do this, and I didn't know, but I'm already doing it, and then I realized after I've already done it, confirmation shows me that they're copying me. So they're all copycats. That's fine, whatever. Do what you got to do. Exercise your pride all the way to the very bitter, sweet end. So it looks like January 3rd, huh? All right. Fine. There's a party time. There's exchanging gifts. There's something that happens beforehand. There's a 3-day period. There's 24th coming up. Man, is it going to be a major earthquake. The world's going to be shaking and quaking on November 24th.